Hello, beautiful people of the world. I am back after a long month of being on my work placement and life being busy. I hope you guys are doing well. I am doing well. Today was a very bittersweet day, but I am back. I'm going to read you a poem that I have, and then I'm going to read you a half of a poem that I haven't finished, if that makes sense. So, it goes something like this. It's called A Simple Mind. The simple mind is not so simple to understand. When a person goes through something tough, and then they try to explain themselves after it happening, is not so simple. When a person becomes calm after years of being in a storm of the mind, they start to rebirth themselves again. Never estimate the power you have over your mind and body. Only you know how you feel inside. Existing is okay, but living is even better. So living with a simple mind is alright, but never let your emotions overwhelm you to the point of exhaustion. Do not put all your energy into one place and try to make people understand you. Newsflash, it never will work. People in this world aren't always meant to understand emotions that a person has. Newsflash again, not a lot of people care either. That's why it's important to find comfort in people that put the effort in to understanding you and not to judge you for being human. I know it's rough, but trust me, I've been there. We all have, and it becomes much better. My message to you is do not downgrade yourself to impress someone else. It's not worth it. People who do not give a shit aren't going to walk over you like a welcome mat, but keep this in your main thought in your head, that every time that crosses your path, they can never walk over you if there's no welcome mat for them to walk over in the first place. If you don't have one to let them step on, have a trapdoor instead. So, this one is called Soft-Hearted, and I wrote this one and I kind of forgot about it, so that's why it's not done. But soft-hearted. Growing up with a heart that is kind and loving gets usually taken advantage of. It sucks, but with a sense of hope, with being soft-hearted, it shows who you truly are as a person. It's okay to be sensitive about things in your life. Softness is good because it can become a safe space for others to express themselves. It provides a helping hand to others to feel comfortable with things that go unheard. I tried my hardest for years to heal all the people around me that never wanted to get healed. I've always found that I was helpful in different situations with people that have crossed my path, but I also found that I was never thanked or appreciated. It's a sad world we live in, but I tried my best. So, I didn't end it. Well, I ended it there, but I didn't finish it. That I wanted to end it. So yeah. I have another one that I didn't finish either, but it's called Soft Spoken. It's almost like Soft-Hearted, but soft spoken as like how I'm speaking. Soft spoken. I need to sneeze. Whew, that scared me. I'm sorry if that scared you. It's gonna happen again, I think. No? Okay. It might happen in a minute. I can't promise you anything, but anyways, back to that was a commercial. Anyways, it says having a conversation with somebody while them being a soft-spoken person can become difficult to deal with because most adults don't have the patience for a person that has a soft voice, which makes the other person feel uncomfortable. But being a soft-spoken person is a good skill to have in life because when you think about it, you can talk to children without having a rough tone while speaking to them. It shows them that you will listen to them when they speak to you. So again, I couldn't finish it because I didn't have time for it. Sorry, I was reading that one. What's another one I can read you? Oh. Yeah, this is depressing. Oh, this one is also not finished, but it's finished now until I go back to it. So, we all heard about tea, right? It's a drink. It's a scent, it's a calming environment to be in, right? When people have tea, it's a calming environment to be in. So, I thought of it one day where I was like, is there a theory about tea? So, the poem, essentially, it's called Tea Theory. Why do people drink tea? Is it because it's a warm, comforting drink? Or is it because of the taste? People like having tea. Some cups are warm, some cups are bitter tasting. I truly think that tea is better than coffee. Just because tea is sweet and coffee is rich, they attach emotions to people's souls. In one simple cup, they change another person's mood just by the way they taste. There was a time where tea parties used to be the norm, where ladies would dress up in fancy clothing and make sure that their hair was nicely done. Times have changed throughout the decades. It's sad that humanity has changed because nobody is real anymore. The world has always been cruel because there have always been more horrible things happening around the globe. News articles showing you the negative impact of war crimes and government issues, but they never mention the beauty behind the nature of the world. Only the rare ones will show you the beauty behind the world in videos on social media. Rarely. But yeah, it's pretty much, that one's not done. But that's not to read you that one too. Let's see if I have another one kicking around here. Oh, I have a little story to tell you about this poem. So, yeah, I'll read you it first and then I'll tell you the backstory of it. So, it's called Little Fairies. As a child, I used to think whenever I would lay my head down to sleep, fairies would come visit me and help me fall asleep faster. But they would tickle me. I would giggle and my mom would ask me, "What's so funny?" So that's all I have written. But I'll tell you. So growing up, I always had a very, like, my imagination was so strong, especially when I was like little. I think it was from being so good at observing things now when I look back at it. But yeah, so I used to have this thing when I was a kid where when I would play pretend before bed, I used to think little fairies would come and visit me. I used to think that, I'll also tell you another thing too, but I'll tell you this first. So, before even anybody anybody says anything. I had this before Inside Out ever came out, like, you know, the movie. So it was really, really funny because I grew up with epilepsy seizures, and whenever I was in the hospital, I always used to imagine that little nurse fairies would come and visit me and, like, make sure I was okay and I was taken care of and whatever. So I remember one night specifically, there was almost like, I can imagine it in my brain, but I can imagine it, I can't describe it. The only way I can describe it if it was like one of the fairies from Tinkerbell with a pink dress on. I forget what her name was, but anyways, fact check me on that whenever you can. But it used to be a little fairy that came around, and how I would understand that they would come and visit me is where I would kind of open my eyes, and I always kind of imagined that if I opened my eye, it's so silly to think about it now, but if I opened my eyes so slightly, I could kind of see them, but obviously it never happened because it was only my imagination. But I always found it funny because I even remember recently actually trying to go to sleep, and I couldn't get to sleep, and I was like, okay, where's my fairies? Where's my fairies? I need my fairies to make me go to sleep. And I think it came from when my mother used to put me to sleep, and she would kind of like rub my forehead, and when I worked in the daycare, I did that with my babies too, and it works. But I always imagined anytime she would rub my forehead, and then like obviously people would doze off from it, I always imagined that kind of feeling as like a little fairy trying to kiss me goodnight. So that's where it came from, and I never heard anybody else talk about it, that like when they were little they seen spirits or seen like apparitions of ghosts or something like that, but never like an imaginary thing. So I always found it weird and funny, because I used to giggle in the middle of my sleep, and I remember Mom waking me up, my mother waking me up one night, and she was like, oh, that's so funny. So that's why I always used to giggle, and my mom would ask me what's so funny, and I remember actually waking up and being like, what? I was like 6 years old, and I was like, Mommy, what? And she's like, what's so funny? You're laughing in your sleep. I said, oh, that's just the fairies. Now let me go back to sleep so I can play with them. And she'd be like, anyways, yeah, that's where that came from. And yeah, I just thought it was really funny because even though it's like imagination, it's so perfect in a sense where you can tell when a kid is going to be somebody someday, because when a child has such a good imagination, they can do anything, and I'm a good person now, so yeah, there's a lot of poems on here that I haven't really finished. Some are really depressive, but some are also really sweet. Yeah. I wonder if there's another one here I can read you that isn't depressing. I have a lot of depressive ones. No, I don't think, no. Anywho, yeah, I just thought that I could read you this one too. But before I do that, yeah, I thought it would be a good idea to record in a video of different poems I've wrote in the past. So if they ever disappear off this, I can go back and, be like, okay, that's what that poem was, and then rewrite it. But yeah, this one I had written last year because in that time I was going through like moments where all I did was listen to music, either live or, just being in my bedroom with headphones on. Like I always am. Like I'm always having my headphones on. But yeah, this one is kind of like done in a poem, but I want to make it longer, but like I want to change it up, but I don't, maybe. The poets get it. Yeah, it's called If My Eyes Were a Camera. Also another thing too, of just saying that part. I also thought as a kid too that before meta glasses were a thing, I always wished that I had a superpower where anything good happened in my life, I wish my eyes could take a picture of it or a video of it. And the first time that I actually heard about meta glasses, that there's these little things that actually took a picture or took a video, I was amazed by it. I was like, did I manifest that or something? Because I was like, damn, like what happened? But yeah, so this kind of is like kind of similar to this poem and why I wrote it, because I just was always amazed by things that happened in my life, and I never really had a phone until I was like, I think 13 maybe, like my first ever phone. Like I had my mother's iPod, old camera from like home videos, but I never actually had something where I could go, oh that's cool, click, or take a picture or a video or something. And that's why I wanted to always be a YouTuber when I was a kid too, because I want something out in the world that is my own, and I encourage a lot of people to do that too. Whoever watches this and never leaves a comment, I see you, and I understand. So anyways, this is how it goes. If my eyes were a camera, if my eyes could take photos and videos of everyday things like hangouts or going to see your favorite band or artist, my mind would be overloaded with too many videos and too many photos that I have captured throughout the years. It's amazing to me how much I observe in the run of a day. It has taught me, even in my brokest moments, that things can still become beautiful. That's the reason why I'm so poetic. It's because I try my hardest to see the beauty behind every situation, every interaction. Even when I'm going through a rough patch in my life, I feel as if I'm broken because I believe that everything I built myself back up again for is I always end up back in a rough patch again. Because in the moment it feels like I built myself back up, that it was for nothing. But then I realized that was the whole point. It's a strength booster that I needed to become stronger when everything felt like I didn't need it. That's who I am. That's my whole life. My whole life has been seen through a camera lens because of the home videos. My childhood has been seen in very many different ways. I will always watch and smile at the little girl that I used to be, that went through it all, realizing that one day I will create my own little girl and have her childhood being as great as mine once was. I'll always dream of becoming a mother that heals every part of herself to become the best version for her future daughter or son. A mother that provides comfort in every situation that crosses their path. So yeah. Anyways, I'm rambling, and I'm so sorry for always having these videos so long. But it just comes with the package. This is the reason why we're a society, is because I talk too much. Anyways, so yeah. And others are just personal too, but I might actually not put them in a book, but like I'm gonna choose. I might make a design into them anyway. Maybe. But anyways, yeah. So I'll shut up now because you're probably like, oh come on. I wanna go to my second video I wanna watch. Anyways. But yeah. I hope you guys have a good week, and I hope you had a lot of rest. And if you didn't, that's okay too. remember that everything is an experience, and if you take